So now next, let's go to the ABS absolute and concatenate function. So basically here, what we're going to do, I'm just going to uncolor this section. So no fill. So basically absolute, the formula for absolute, it's a good formula, because when you're doing reconciliation, let's assume you are doing like this section here, it's a data or customer account that we want to reconcile. So you can use it either when you're doing customer accounts or supplier accounts or your bank reconciliation, where you want to make sure that stuff which is on the bank statement is in your GL, and whatever is not, then you bring it up. So remember, the bank statement and your GL, normally they are going on the same direction. So that means you need to invert one other bank statement so that it becomes a credit, and your bank statement, your GL, becomes a positive. So that if this is, for example, this was my sales is 150, which is in my data. So the payment which I receive from my customer is going to be this. So the two, I must net them to make sure that it's zero. So anything that's over and above that, which remains, like in this case here, you can see if I select everything, I've got 481,755. That means that's a number here at the bottom, which is not being paid. So that's how you want to do. But then, because remember, the one is in a credit, the other is in a debit. So if I'm going to put, maybe say I'm going to put this as is, as my contra, and this is that. If I do a pivot, it will take this 27,000 minus 27 as a different number, and this 27,000 positive is also a different character. So if I try to do a pivot, I will not have this flashing. So this is where the formula absolute comes into play. So if I type here, so if I say equals to, so the syntax for absolute is ABS. So I'm going to say ABS and then open bracket, and then I'm going to point it here. Can you see now it's 27,080.78. If I copy it here, it's also a positive. So now these two, they're exactly the same. So what the absolute does, it converts a negative number into a positive, so making it the same. So if you're doing reconciliation, it's a good tool to have, because if I do my pivot using this, then I would know that these numbers actually flash. So the only number that will get this an exception will be this 481. So let me then explain how further to do a recon. So can you see here, I'm going to delete this, we're going to come back to it. So when you're doing a reconciliation, as I said, this is a customer account. You want to know which has been paid and what is outstanding. So how you do it is like, I know this and this, it's exactly the same. Can you see there's my 27, there's my 27. So I can highlight this, shift, I hold my control on the 27 and on this 27, and then you can highlight with any color that you want. Me, I prefer green, maybe you can prefer purple or whatever color you want. And then I'm going to go to 150 because it's exactly the same. I'm going to put my green. So the first thing I'm going to do is to identify things that are matching to the cent. And then 14,400, I got my 14,400, I'm holding this one, and then click my control and hold the next one, and that's it. And then I go to 29, it's okay, green. So always keep here your eye on the sum here to make sure that your numbers are zeroing in 29, and then I'm going to click control and click the next one. There is my 29. 53, and my 53 is sharp. And then this one, can you see here it's 0, but because it's 3 numbers, I will not do it, I'll do it lastly. And then this guy and this guy, I can see they're actually 0. So then we mark it green. So what I'm going to do, then I'm going to do my formula. So it's going to be equals to, because it's a contract field, I want to know which numbers are contract. So I will need to put my double inverted commas, because I want it to be preceded by a contra and then my absolute number. So there we go. So I'm going to type contra in the double inverted commas, because I want it to come in as a text preceding my formula. And then I'm going to type end, and then ABS, our absolute formula, and then your open bracket, and then I'm going to put point it to the number on my left. And then it says we found a typo in the form and try to correct it to ABC. Yeah, it's fine. So that's what we want. So then just click enter. Can you see I've got contra and then my number, the 2708. So for this one's in green, I'm just going to copy this, and then just select all the cells here. And then I'm gonna go here because they are all the same. And then for here now, can you see it, although it's zeroizing? So if I put everything like here to be 74137163250, when I run my pivot, it will identify this as its own number. So how do you fix it? So you're gonna paste, because I still have got it copied here on the clipboard. So I'm just paste it on the bigger number. And then I'm gonna copy this bigger number, and then I'm gonna paste it here as values. So as values, then come here to the paste, and then 1, 2, 3, and then again here, 1, 2, 3. So that can you see this is 7413741374113. If I pasted that formula on top, it would be this one will be 7163 and 250, but you don't want it to be like that. So I want it to be exactly like this. So that when I run my pivot, then it will be clear. It will only show me that this is the number which is outstanding. So then let's do a quick pivot table to see what is outstanding. I will explain that. So a pivot is basically a tool that you use to analyze your data. So at a glance, you want to know, like in this case, to say what is outstanding, on the which invoice number is actually outstanding. So how you do it, then we go data, insert, sorry. So go insert and then pivot table. But first you must select your data. So I'm going to just go shift control right and then shift control down. And then, but from which position? So you start when the customer left the very left cell, and then shift control right, shift control down, and then you go insert and then pivot table. So can you see the pivot table, the way it works? When you click insert pivot table, it will, the top section, it tells you the range that it is selected for you. It's coming from A to P19. Can you see there's P19? So that's the range. And then the next is it would ask you, choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. So do you want it in a new worksheet or an existing worksheet? So for us, let's choose existing worksheet. So, and then it will ask you what location do you want it to be on? So we want it to be, I'm gonna point it to the cell A21. Can you see? Then you click OK. So the way pivot table, at the top of your pivot table will be your pivot fields. The pivot fields are basically your headers, the headers in your columns, your customer date, reference, code, debit, whatever contract, and whatever is on your headings will come here. So all we want is to have our contra. Remember that contra field, I'm going to bring it to my rows, and then I'm just want to bring my net amount here, because I want to know for all my contracts which one is not contract. Can you see here? We've got it already. The answer is given us in a flash. We know the 481 is one which is not which does not have which is not contract. So how do I get to know what invoice number is in it? So all I can do, I can then maybe click on it. Then it will give me the exact cell to say this is my invoice number that is not contract. So then if I'm doing my statement, then I can actually tell the customer to say, hey, guy, please can you pay me because your account is still not paid. So can you see the power of pivots? So it works. You can just double click and then it tells you to the detail. So it's like you can actually go and drill down into what you are working with. So I'm gonna just leave this and then let's go back to the next one.